In
We
4
had
months.
everything ready to go.
Right. So I'm brand new. Listen to this. What would you tell me to do if I wanted to kind of follow in your footsteps of the things and some of the mistakes that you made and some of the success that you've had as well too? What would you say are a couple things that I should do right from the get-go?
I would say learn, educate yourself. And whatever, for example, if you like what we're doing, follow us. Whatever it is, not to be us, but anybody, follow, get a mentor or get a coach. Just follow what they're doing that's actively doing it, not somebody that's learning from a book and telling you what to do.
Right.
If you want to get into multifamily, follow somebody that's actively investing into multifamily. If you want to get into building, follow somebody that's actually actively building. Got 18, 14, and the youngest is 9.
13.
Nice. 9. Uh-oh.
No,
13.
13?
Yeah. So 13.
13 and 9.
13, 9. So it's 3.
And
Yeah,
18.
and 18.
And 18.
Our oldest
All
is
right.
18, yeah.
All right, cool. Awesome.
Boy and 2 girls.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Are they giving you trouble yet?
No.
No? They're good?
They're good.
good
Yeah.
kids. They're
They're
good
really
kids.
good.
Yeah?
They're good
Awesome.
kids.
Listen, Leo, Jacqueline, I'm excited to do this with you guys. I've seen your story, a little bit of it, but I really want to kind of get into it and dissect it because I think you guys have done some incredible things. You guys have gone through mentorship as well too, and you're also now mentoring as well. Yeah, and transition from a 9 to 5 world. That's always a scary thing to do. Yeah. Let's kind of dive into your story. Who wants to start first?
Yeah, Leo, because it all started with you.
Yeah, so
Get you a little closer to that mic.
yeah. So I don't know how far we want to go back into my story. But
Quick version. Let's get the quick version.
Yeah. Quick version is I back in the days I became an accidental landlord in the real estate space. I bought a house in the Pickering when I was say about 23 years old. I bought a house in Pickering, didn't know nothing about
Yeah. Well, how old are you now?
me. I'm 42.
You got no grays, man. How about you're still the 22? Okay, but anyways, go on.
Vegetarian.
Okay, all right. I'm going to switch up my diet.
Yeah, so the quick version, became an accidental landlord, bought a house when I was about 22. Didn't know nothing about real estate. I just knew it was kind of a good idea to invest into real estate.
Right.
At the time, I was young, so I wasn't really making enough income to pay the mortgage. So I told my family members, "Hey, you guys let's move into this 5-bedroom house and
Yep.
put together, and we'll make the payment and make it work, right?"
Yeah.
So they all agreed verbally, but once I got serious and got the realtor and signed the agreement, they all
Right.
backed out.
Right.
So I was like,
Yeah.
So I was
What
like,
one thing in theory, another thing when it comes down to being practical, right?
Yeah.
And actually
Yes.
signing the paperwork and,
Yeah.
and forking the money over and the down
Yes.
payment.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. The down payment, they all backed out and just kind of just left me on my own. So I was like, okay, what do I do now? So just long story short, end up keeping the property, end up making the payments for a few months. Couldn't afford it, so then I had to get some tenants. 'Cause I couldn't afford it by myself, so get some tenants, rented it for a few years, and then the tenants I ended up renting to end up being bad tenants where they would stop paying me. So I had to go through the whole process. Them times was a little quicker, so that I was able to go through the process within 5-6 months to go to the LTB and they get them out and get the sheriff there. And then so we got them out, and then I realized okay, I can't really keep this place, so I had to sell it. So then that's when I sold it, and I made like $300K when I was still in my early 20s, like still in my 20s, after keeping it for about 6 years. I made like $300K. That's when I realized, okay, real estate, there's something there, So
Right.
there's something there with real estate. So then fast forward a few years later, we took an educational real estate course to get more, to learn more about real estate.
What course was it?
It was it's a group called Keyspire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Scott McGillivray.
Scott
Yeah,
McGrew
we joined
over
the
here.
network. We went to the 1-day thing and we were hooked.
You know what? That was, I also did that as well too. So I did the 1 day, I
Yeah.
got hooked, and then it was the
3
3
day.
day.
Yeah.
That 3 day
Yeah.
course was really good. Like it
Yes.
gave you a good high level of all the
Yes.
different strategies that were
Yeah.
out there. And then you just kind of just picked the one that you liked. Yeah.
We had no idea about any of them. We're like, wow, this is incredible. So you don't necessarily have to pay off your house. You know, this whole model that we had been brought up, understanding was the way to live life. They totally threw that out the door. And so that hooked us. So like, what else is out there for us?
Okay.
And then we end up joining.
Yeah,
Right.
we ended up joining from the 1 day to the 3 day. Then they offered. Then we ended up joining on the 3 day, and then we came to the Summit. But then when we seen the price tag, when we were signing up to actually join the program,
Yeah.
when
2016.
when we seen the almost $20,000 price tag, we're like, what the hell? Like
it
at
was
that time,
expensive.
I'm like, this is crazy. I
Right.
can't afford this, but you end up talking it out. Then we end up putting it on my credit card, and then fast forward a few years later, we're like, this is the best $20K I invested so far. Like just learning about this whole real estate game and how to invest properly and all this other stuff, right? So
I think that's always a difficult thing in the beginning, right? Is, spending that kind of money when you feel like you don't have the money and you're like, well, what if I don't recoup this money? And then you talk to your friends about it, and your friends are obviously talking you out of it because they're not even, and this is the tricky part, is that they're not even where you want to be in life, but yet you're
Exactly.
getting the advice from them. It's like that crab in the bucket mentality, right? Where they kind of, and it's not even that they want to keep you down. It's more of a protection thing.
Yeah.
Is the way that I look at it, right?
And I think it's also the first time that principle of investing into yourself, like in hindsight, that's where we had to understand what that really was. Because now being in self-development, you understand that is important to spend on yourself. But at that time, when you don't have that mindset, you're like, whoa, why would I spend this? I've never done that before. And then, like you said, you're talking to people that would never invest that kind of money into anything, maybe a car, because that's all they know how to invest in. And they're telling you, no, it's not a good idea. I mean, we just talked about it amongst ourselves, but we knew our family would be like, what the hell are you guys doing? I mean, for us, that was even a huge thing to invest in. And we didn't know what the returns were going to be.
Right. So then now you join up, you start investing in real estate. How long was it from the time that you started really heavily investing in real estate to then leaving your full-time jobs? Because you guys both left your full-time jobs, correct?
No, actually, let me take it back a little bit. So prior to Keyspire and stuff, I was working a job. Like I got my my truck driving license. So I actually worked for a company for a few years, and then I realized like working for people is not really my thing, So I just opened up my own company. I bought a truck. Well, actually, the guy I was working for, I ended up buying the truck from him. So this was back in 2007. So I ended up buying the truck from him, started my own business at 2007. So we started off with one truck, and then we were working together. And we just started building from there. I had one truck for a few years, bought another one for a few years. I had a driver, bought another one, I had another driver. So we just kind of build up from there prior to joining the real estate educational
What were you
program.
moving around? Dirt?
Yeah,
They're
moving
dump
around
trucks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the dump trucks on construction sites and stuff, right? So we're moving around dirt from one job site to the landfill sites and just
That's
back
an
in.
interesting business, just moving dirt. but it's such an important role.
Yeah.
And job, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're moving dirt for, I guess, like builders where they're.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So whether you're building a custom home, whether you're building a large condominium project, whether you're just relocating soil on the sites and stuff.
So it could be anything from residential, commercial, industrial. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not just dirt too. We move like aggregate. It could be stone. It could be topsoil. It could be like garbage. It could be anything that could actually go in the back of the truck.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Leo fell into that accidentally as well.
Yeah, a lot of accidental things have happened in your life. But I wonder if it is accidental or sometimes
or it was
it's
meant to
purpose.
be.
It never is accidental.
Yeah.
It was
It
meant
never
to be,
is.
like because somebody had the vision for me, and I just kind of fell into the role, I kind of just seen the opportunity and it just took it, ran with
Okay.
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for you, where were you working?
I was with the Ministry of Children and Youth Services as a probation officer.
Okay.
And I thought I landed my dream job. I loved it. It was everything that I wanted to do. I went to school for social work, thought I'd be in Children's Aid Society working because everybody got a job after university. But I went a different route, loved it. And then I got pregnant with our second daughter. And they were like, oh, you are on contract, so you can't come back right now. So I was like, oh, that was really devastating. What do I do with my life now?
How long
So,
were you with them for?
2 years?
Okay.
2 years. But I wasn't a permanent government
Yeah.
worker.
Contractor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I started to work with Leo. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do the invoicing because he needed someone to do it while he was driving and gone all day. And so that's what I started doing. And then it worked because then I was home with the kids. I got to help him out while he was just driving. And as the business grew, I was doing all the admin stuff. Right. So that's where we got the taste of learning to work together and being able to run our lives as a couple and then as business partners.
Okay. So at that point in time, then it wasn't just real estate investment, but it was also the active business as well too, right? Which we're going to get to, which I think is important. So at that time now, so you've grown your real estate portfolio, or was it not?
No.
The business, we're growing the business
We were growing
first.
the business,
Then
yeah.
after
So
business.
2016 is when we got into the real estate education. And then we did that for about a year. We were like, okay, this is good, but kids were small. Active business was going great. So we're like, maybe we're going to put this on pause because we self-helped everything.
Yeah, because we actually started out as passive. We wanted to be
Yes.
more passive because my business is growing. I mean, we're doing good. So I'm like, let's just start off passive. Let's start off passive, invest the money that we made, and start off passive that way. Like just like every other investor, we started off with a single family flip. That's in Scarborough. We started off that way, and
You dived into that.
Yeah.
He took on a project that was incredibly a great learning experience.
challenge.
Okay. Tell us about it.
It was like I said, we as prior to joining the educational program, we wanted to be passive. So I had a buddy that was a contractor. He was my really good friend. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's just partner up. We buy this bungalow in Toronto here. We buy this bungalow, we flip it completely, turn around and flip it. But like I said, we didn't at the time didn't have no
Experience.
so we didn't know. So here's me trying to learn like the real estate side of it, and he's the contractor. So we didn't really have the experience. He's a really good contractor. So long story short, we over
Leverage.
we over leveraged and we just over renovated this property. Like we just went in there and just gutted everything, which we didn't even have to at the time, and the project, like for example, the project that's supposed to take us 3 to 6 months took us like what?
Year and a half.
Took about a
Almost 2
year and a
years.
half on our first flip. So carrying costs, over budget, it
The
just
market shifted and then
What-
right off the
what year?
beginning too.
What year was this?
this was a 2017,
2017.
17, 18.
Oh,
17,
right.
yeah.
That was when Kathleen Wynne came out with some of
Yeah.
those changes there, right? The foreign
Exactly.
tax and a couple
Yes,
things, and then the
yes.
market.
Yes.
dip there.
Yeah.
Right. So just bad timing.
Bad
Okay.
time. And then when we bought the property, my partner, because it was in his name and stuff, we had 3 months to do the financing. So he's like, oh, we have 3 months. And that's when the market dipped. Instead of going right away and organizing the financing with 3 months, so then within a month the market dipped. So then right away there was a shortfall right away before we even closed on the deal.
Okay.
There was an $80,000 shortfall, which had to come from my pocket.
All right. So after that big mistake, what did you guys do next? Because I want to get into Francis 5 and how that got started.
So after that, after we realized, hey, we lost a lot of money on our very first flip, then we kind of took a break. Like while we were doing this flip for about a year and a half, we took a break from this Keyspire educational program. So then we came back to that. We said, okay, we're doing something wrong. So we came back. We went back.
2019. We
2019
decided we're
to
going to
get
try
back
this
into-
again.
Yep. Okay. And
Rewind.
Then did you decide to then, was it continuing on with Keyspire, or did you join like another group?
We decided to continue with Keyspire.
Okay.
So we went back 2020. We're like, we're going to take this seriously. This is the year we're going to change up things. And then at the time,
So during COVID?
Yeah. We're like,
As
we're gonna be
beginning.
active now. We're not gonna be passive. Let's just be more active.
Okay.
so we were able to get into a 18-unit multifamily mixed-use commercial
Nice.
project,
Okay.
which was great.
Yeah.
2020, we closed on that in February, and then COVID hit in March.
Okay. So break that down just real high level. How do you get into an 18-unit building? Like when you're like, okay, I'm going to take this by the horns here and get into it.
Yeah.
Were you raising capital? Did you do the whole GP, LP structure?
None of the things.
Oh,
Somebody
no.
actually reached out to us.
We did a
was a
JV
JV.
partnership.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a JV partnership. Somebody that we actually met from Keyspire. They kind of brought us the deal,
Got it.
and we went in as the money partner, and we kind of leveraged our primary house. We kind of did a HELOC on there. That's how we were able to do it.
Okay. You still have that property?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so then when did Francis 5 start? And what is Francis 5 Properties? What is that?
Francis 5 Properties, it's us, So when we say Francis 5, it's us two, and then plus our
The 3 kids.
Our,
And the 3 kids?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we
Okay,
wanted
cool.
to make sure it's inclusive because we knew that whatever that we're purchasing and we're doing now, it will be for them.
Okay.
Whatever we make passively, we can pass it down because we know real estate is not, we sell it tomorrow. I mean, hey, if we had to, we had to. But some of the properties that we do have, we want to hold them long term.
Yeah, we're in it for the long haul, So we want to be able to pass it down to our kids, like make it a generational thing. Yeah, so
Got
that's
it.
Them to
when
understand
we're coming
real
up with the
estate.
name. We're like, okay, let's do
Right. So Francis 5 is you, and then if I wanted to partner with you, was that part of it as well too, or was it just like you were growing your own portfolio on your own?
pretty much growing our own portfolio on
Okay.
our own, and then try to get the kids involved as well as they get older into
Okay.
the real estate.
Got it. So then you did the 18 unit. Where else did you expand to from an investment standpoint?
In 2021, we took another education course that taught us about OPM, other people's money.
Yep.
Right. And then after that, we did another multifamily course that really honed in on multifamily. That's when we're like, hey, you know what? This is the investment stream. We're going to go down. We're going to purchase multifamily. This seems to be the best option for us. We already had one.
Right.
So it only made sense.
Okay.
And that course was great. We learned a lot in that course. And then 2021 August, we decided to use an investor-focused realtor and purchase a 6-unit building, also in Niagara Falls. So both properties are in Niagara.
Got it. Okay, so you did that, and then now interest rates start to take off. That is when was that again? Was that that was a year later?
2021.
No, it was 2022. wasn't it?
2022. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2022.
Yeah.
I think like around just in the spring, somewhere around
Yeah.
there.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
they should have raised
Yes,
the
you're right, spring,
rates
yeah.
back in Jan,
Yeah.
and they didn't. And I
Yeah.
remember like, why didn't they raise rates? Because the prices were going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, were you guys still continuing purchasing properties during that time? Did you even, like, looking back at it, hindsight, what would you have done different?
Oh, that's a great question. So what happened with the sixplex, we thought it was going to be a 1-year renovation, right? We gave ourselves like 12 months to 18 months.
Yeah.
And the city of Niagara Falls decided to take 7 months to give us a permit. So we were like, wow, this is not according to how we thought things were going to go. So that 1 year turned into 2 years.
Okay.
And during that time, we had to cover our expenses. We had to cover the mortgage on the property, which was a syndicate mortgage, and we had some private investors on there. And so nothing was being done in that 7 months. By the time the 7 months came up, it was November? And so we really didn't start the renovations until March of 2022.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so then in between those 7-8 months, like we're carrying pretty much a vacant building, just carrying it, just dumping money into this property.
Right. So it's vacant.
It's
You've got
vacant.
private money, and private money is not cheap.
Oh,
Right. And then you guys are sitting there waiting for these permits. And this
Yeah.
is during now when interest rates
Rates
are
are
going
going
up.
up.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
those interest rates, I guess, didn't impact you because, well, at least
was a
from
fix.
the private
Yeah.
side of things.
yeah.
But then now you do your renovations. Now you're obviously, going to give back that private money, and now interest rates are high.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Now interest rates are high, and to get a mortgage, it's very high. So we have to stay private, and the private money is still high.
We ended
you
up
know?
going over. So the mortgage was due, August 2022. We had to extend till December 2022.
Okay.
So all these reoccurring costs again. So it was a challenging time.
Yeah.
We didn't expect that, especially with all of our capital that we thought was our safety net was
Yeah.
dumped into now this property.
Right. So now you're burning through your reserve cash. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we didn't do anything in that time. We're like, we are not going to buy anything right now. We did some private lending, which was okay. It kind of kept us afloat.
So this is an important conversation because I know a lot of people are going through these challenging times. Like I'm no different from myself, no different from a lot of other investors. A lot of people aren't talking about this. So then you're going through this. What is it that you're thinking of doing at this time now? Is it lending your money out? Is it focusing more on active income. What are you doing?
Sometimes we wanted to sell. Okay. Sometimes we were like, oh, maybe we just need to leave this alone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause it
Leo
just-
was
'cause
so
it's-
stressed.
Yeah, because it's just burning through my reserve funds. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
at what point is enough? Is enough? You know. So we just pushed through it and just focused on the active income and just tried to stay busy with the business.
Because the
with
trucks were doing really great. Like that was stable. We had like 5 drivers at the time. He was still driving on and off. So that kept us afloat. Plus the vision of like, we know this building is going to be amazing once we get it up and running. We know the potential of it. The location was amazing. We didn't want to let go of it. So sometimes it was coming back to, why did we purchase this in the first place? What is this going to do for us in the long term? Like, can we just get through this immediate financial situation right now? Because at the end of it, we're going to win. But we have to see the winning before we actually win.
Right. And so then you focus on the active income
Yeah.
and trying to then stabilize those properties.
Yeah.
And then so feeding those properties with the active income to keep it afloat. Is that
absolutely.
what's kind of
That's
okay?
exactly what we
Yes.
did. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we exactly did. We had to feed those just to carry us, just to make us through, because property was in the negative, until we could stabilize, like you said, until we could stabilize the property, So it just had to just feed it from the active income.
Right.
Yeah.
And now while that's happening, then you guys now are also building your own personal home. Is that correct?
Yeah. Then we got into that.
Yeah. So we could tell you a little story how that started, because
Yeah.
like we were at that time we were active investors, so you're always looking for another Maltese, but like the numbers and the interest rates were so low, nothing was making sense. Nothing was making sense. So like, how could we diversify? How can we pivot? So then me being in the business, the trucking company, I'm always working with like small or medium builders. So we put it out there. We're like, hey, let's look into development. Let's look into building. Let's try to pivot, do something else, because Maltese ain't making sense right now.
Yep.
So
And
then,
that's a conversation me and him, like we had together about like, what are we going to do? Maybe the wisest thing right now is to try to get into some sort of like a development or build our own thing.
Yeah, because at
What
first
year was that when you did that? Because
Last year.
Last year.
2020,
2023.
Got it.
like
Okay.
2020,
And
beginning
that
of
property is
2023.
in Oshawa.
Yes,
And is it I can't remember now, detached or is it two detached?
two detached homes.
detached.
Yeah.
Two
Okay.
detached homes. Yeah. So it kind of
That's a
came.
big risk,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
It is a big risk, but it
Yeah.
came as an opportunity. Because like a builder friend that I did a lot of work with, he had these lots here. He had this lot here, and he's like, hey, my plate is full. I can't take another project right now. Are you interested? So I talked to my wife. I'm like, absolutely, let's jump on it, because I had these guys to show me. We never built before, right? So I had these guys to kind of show me the steps and show me how to pretty much get it done, get started into it, and get the job done. So I partnered up with my builder buddy, and it kind of just started from there,
And so I shouldn't even say risk, but more of a calculated risk.
Yes.
That one was.
Because the numbers weren't working with any of the other investment properties that you were looking at. And so then the calculated risk was what? To build your own home and then sell your property, because where were you guys living? Or you guys still own that property as well? Like what's the game plan? Walk me through that.
At first, the game plan, we weren't planning on living there. It was just like an investment standpoint, right? We're like, okay, let's do this as an investment. Let's build these homes. There's 2 houses here.
Yeah.
We'll build them and then sell them, sell one, keep one, rent one out. That was just an investment, So then after after some time, we're like, let's just move into it, save on the taxes, sell our primary residence, move into this one for like a year or 2, save on the taxes, rent the other one out, and then sell it, So
Right.
yeah, so we just kind of,
which is not a bad move.
That made
because
more sense.
Yeah, because now you're also saving on capital gains.
Yeah,
Yes,
the tax-
huge. And capital gains changed
Yeah.
recently,
Right. Yeah. To what, 66% now of half of what you make, right? Yeah.
exactly. So it first started as that. We weren't even planning on moving in here, but we kind of just changed our strategy. Like, hey, let's just move in there for 12 to 24 months per se, and then we can sell after, save on those taxes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So then during all of this that's happening, how were you from a mental standpoint? Because it's draining.
Yes.
What were you doing? Were you listening to any particular podcast? Did you have mentors that were helping you through this to take a look at your finances? Were you doing it on your own? What were you
I think
doing?
a little bit of all of it. Like we are part of a real estate mastermind group, so they were super helpful. We joined this group called Synergy,
Yeah.
and being able to talk about what was going on in the industry, being able to come together. We had these 3 live events that we would go to different parts of
Canada,
Canada
one
and
international.
yeah. We connected with a few people that we were able to sit down, go over our portfolio, look at what we need to change.
Mhm.
We got into some infinite banking
Yeah.
Yeah.
recently as well,
hmm
just as another way of like, hey, this is another possibility. Let's keep this open. And like podcasts and books, and just keep our mind focused and filled on possibility instead of like focusing on sometimes that what's going on right now in your world, because it can be daunting if you really put too much energy into it. It cannot feel good, right? There
Yeah.
are days where like we really had to have those conversations, like maybe we should just sell everything. Maybe we need to get to that
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
right?
And listen, and those are real conversations
Yeah.
because we've had them as well too. It's like, what are we doing? And is this really what I want? And
Yeah.
all the
Yes.
additional stress. And I was in a better position a few years
Yeah.
ago.
Oh my
I literally
gosh.
just said that to her yesterday.
He did.
Yeah.
Even now, it's like I'm even thinking, okay, well, should I even go get a job?
Mhm.
Going back into a 9 to 5. I started coaching and I love that. But again, it's bringing people into your container, getting people to understand what you do, how well you do it, and can they trust me enough to help them change their lives. But again, that takes time to build, right? It doesn't happen overnight. So I've had the conversation with him about maybe I need to find an active income. Maybe I need to go find a job. But even that's a process now.
Yeah.
Applying, putting your resume out. I haven't worked in 10, 12 years, 13 years.
Right.
So a lot of things to consider when we're navigating challenges, life, kids, family, moving into a brand new home.
Business.
Yeah.
Business.
Biggest lesson then that you learned during COVID and the rise of interest rates? What would you say, looking back at it all now, and somebody who's maybe listening to this and like, I want to get into real estate investing, the few people maybe now that want to get into it in the environment that we're in, what would you say to them to be careful of?
Keep your active income.
Boom. I love that. Keep your active income.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
What else would you say?
Take the plunge. You're never going to know how resilient you are until you go through situations.
Mhm.
Otherwise, if you're going to stand back with the fear and listen to everything that's happening, you're just going to always be fearful of taking risks.
I agree. And the other thing as well, too, with that to add to it is that the bigger the problem that you can solve, the more that you'll get paid as well, too,
Mhm.
because now you're adding additional skill sets
Mhm.
to your toolbox.
Yep.
And I look back at all the, listen, man, I'm a failure. But it feels like the more times that I've failed, the more success I eventually get if I stick with it, if I continue to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, man, how much more lessons I got to learn?
Right? Isn't it
That's the
over
hard
yet?
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, and
Because
that-
we can't see what's ahead of us. We connect the dots looking backwards. So
Mhm.
after, we're like, oh, okay, now I see why this had to happen to get me here. But looking ahead, it's like, it's mindset. It's understanding how you can navigate what you can't see, but still focus on what's important to you and just have a knowing, a belief, trust that things will work out.
Yeah.
They always do.
Bet on
Yeah.
yourself,
Bet on yourself. Absolutely.
Yes.
right?
Trust yourself.
You've
bet on
always gotten
yourself.
yourself out of problems.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And I would also say to somebody listening, try to get into a business that is recession proof, because we always see 6 to 10 years. This always happens. It's going to happen again,
Yeah.
where we have a downturn in the market. So try to get into a business that's somewhat recession proof, so it doesn't really affect your active income,
Yeah. I'll add to that. I think that's good to find something that you think is recession proof.
Mhm.
But I think also to add to that, also to be able to pivot and adapt very quickly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I thought that my company, Smart Home Choice, was recession proof. I'm like, well, I'm just going to work with real estate investors. And it's been recession proof for the last, 12 years that I've been doing it. And I realized, no, it's not recession proof. And then I had to switch and focus, like you guys were talking about, a little bit more on the active side of things as well, too. And also not just real estate investors. Now, they'll come back, but I don't think they're going to come back for a little while. It's more the ones who are deeper pocketed, where now they're the ones who are hunting for the deals.
Yeah.
The smaller investors, they got damaged, they got hurt. They're fearful as well too, and so now they're just kind of watching to see where things go.
Yeah.
You know, but I also think that it was also good that this happened.
Oh yeah.
In a way that this can happen again, and
Yes,
so
it was a wake-up
not
call
to,
for
It will happen again.
You're right, exactly. So not to think that, oh well, this is an easy road, because it's not.
Yeah.
This is not for everybody and
It's not.
anyone. Yeah,
No.
you know.
It was a wake up call for everyone. And things were so sweet and all these prices. And, you know, at times when we were looking for properties too, we're like, why are these owners asking for these ridiculous prices? It doesn't make sense. Then everyone, you know, had to be humbled.
Yeah, for sure. So now, how are you repositioning yourself, would you say, now for the next year or two with Francis 5 properties and your business?
How we reposition ourselves? Well, right now, like we just finished literally 4 weeks ago. A couple weeks ago, we just finished building these 2 houses. So we're kind of just letting everything settle down for the next few months. Till the rest of 2024 finish. Then we'll kind of go back to the drawing board and see what's our next strategy, what's our next move.
Speaking of drawing boards, do you guys do whiteboarding? Do you
Like-
do goal setting? Do
Yeah.
you, like, what do you guys do when you guys are doing that?
We do vision board.
Okay.
Yeah.
So vision board, putting pictures on, or vision board of like writing down what you
Both.
want?
Both.
We do both.
Both.
Okay.
We write down what we want, and we do pictures, and we actually got the kids involved this year.
That's
They're
awesome.
doing it.
I love when I hear that.
We got our kids involved. We got each of them to do the same picture
Yeah.
vision board. So it was pretty cool to get them involved this year when we did it.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important to get the kids involved. I remember when we started doing our whiteboarding back in like 2010. And I remember when we wrote down everything that we wanted, and some of them were small ones. They were like, pay off for $2,000 Visa.
Yeah.
That was huge. That was huge for us back then, and you'd put your date, and we made them as SMART goals. Our kids would actually write some of their goals in there as well too. Like my daughter wrote, like, I want to stop biting my nails, and then she stopped biting her nails.
Wow.
But she believed in it so much,
Yeah.
and we also wanted to believe in it so much
Yeah.
that you're putting your order out into the universe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It materializes.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's great that you guys are getting your kids involved in that stuff.
Yeah.
So then now you guys are going to sit down, kind of go through what's next for Francis 5.
I'd say we'd like to stay in the building.
Okay, multifamily.
Multifamily. I think that would be amazing to be able to build a multifamily, 5-plex, 6-plex.
Yeah.
Smaller
yeah,
multi?
We're interested. Right now we're interested in we want to get into the in the Toronto market. We like the whole idea of the 4+1 or the 5+1 with the garden suite. How Toronto they're allowed to build the garden suite. So
Okay, so you want to stay in the development
Yes.
realm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We want to kind of stay in the development room. Yeah.
why is that?
Uh
As opposed to, higher, or not higher and best use, but what's what I'm looking for, where you can buy like a building and then improve. Why
Because
can't I think of the word? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We'd like to
yeah.
eventually build a larger multifamily and have some government incentives or government program where the government could just pay us directly. So there's no rent control there. Everything just comes directly with us, and we have the subsidized housing to help out low income families and stuff. So eventually we'd like to do that. That's our goal.
And also too, you're good at moving dirt.
Exactly.
He's like, just hire me.
We're good at moving dirt. We have the trucks, we have the machine,
Yeah.
we have the machinery and stuff like that to do it too. So that's
That's an important skill to
Yeah,
have, right? Not a lot of people know how to move dirt, right? And want to do that.
exactly. So so we have a little bit of an upper hand there when it comes to that,
Mhm.
And I'm
So-
going to answer your question. Development, because I think it may be a longer strategy, but everybody wins. You get this brand new building. Tenants love it. Lenders love it. Banks loves it. With the strategy that we've done, where you just, buy
no
a
rent
property.
no rent control on the
No rent
brand new
control.
building,
Yeah.
You're right.
et cetera.
We still have 2 tenants that are paying way below market rent for a 2-bedroom in Niagara Falls.
Right. And then what is the year? Is it November 2018, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything built after that.
Yeah. Explain that, just in case somebody's listening and not sure what that means.
They passed, I don't know please don't quote me. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
what the bill is called, the law is called, but anything built after any new build
Yeah.
after 2018, there's no rent control.
Right. So you can raise the rents
You can.
to
market.
whatever the market can
Yeah,
bear.
exactly.
Accordingly. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and that's a good strategy, right? To have a property that you can build where you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because we can see with the interest rate, so our mortgage payment goes up, but the tenants are paying $20 extra.
Yeah.
2.5%.
2.5%?
a year
It's
annual
$20.
increase.
Yeah.
That's not helping us,
Exactly.
right?
So what are your predictions on where the market's going to go? What are you guys, and what are you betting on? And
I'm betting that the interest rates is going to eventually go down. I think we'll get back to like a seller's market in the next year or two. You know,
Okay.
where the interest
Yeah.
rates go down, property value goes up, right?
so you think we'll get there in about a year or two?
Yes.
Yeah?
I
Okay.
really do think so.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years, and I don't think it'll be as hot as it was in 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
But the interest will go down. And it's this, if you look at the way it's always been, we have these cycles. It goes up, it goes down. It's a seller's market, it's a buyer's market. It's always going to continue that way. It's just, we can't predict when that's going to take place.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, I believe what you're saying is true. Number one. Number two, I really don't think that it's going to come back strong like how it was before. Eventually it will.
Eventually, yeah. 10 years,
right? Because
maybe.
people, listen, we have short-term memories. and then, the next generation is come, I'm like, oh, well, real estate investing is amazing. And they're going to jump in, and then they're not going to run their numbers like they're supposed to run their numbers
Right.
and over leverage. And it's going to happen all over
Yep.
again,
Yeah.
right? And that's essentially what it was. It was just
Yeah.
that everybody was flocking to real estate investing, and they were buying these things that just didn't make any sense,
No.
like these boxes downtown Toronto, like these cat cages, like $1,500 a square foot.
Wow.
And they can't understand why it didn't work out for them, right? And it was just always just about running your numbers. And I've said this before many times, like it's always about running your numbers,
Yeah.
and not only just running them at what the interest rates are today, but if they were to go up to 3,
Yes.
4%,
Yeah.
and making sure that you could still carry it and cover it,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely got to run them conservatively, right?
Yeah. Would you say that was a big mistake that you guys also made as well too? Like just not running it conservative enough, or do you think it was just timing because you're using the private?
In the market,
Timing.
timing in the market, because no one predicted that, right? You know, it was just timing in the market because we got the property at the numbers made total sense.
did,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And when we ran our numbers, we ran it conservatively, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just timing in the market with the interest rates and everything like that, and delays.
And
you know?
it's the delays. We didn't expect 7
Yeah.
months
Right.
for knocking down a wall. Really, people? You held us up for 7 months. So that really changed things for us, because in that 7 months, a lot changed.
Yeah, because we only said 2 months. 2 months.
Yeah, we thought 2 months to
3
get
months.
permits.
3 months max. That we would have got permits. We would have finished the rentals within 4
We had
months.
everything ready to
Yeah.
go.
Right. So I'm brand new. Listen to this. What would you tell me to do if I wanted to kind of follow in your footsteps of the things and some of the mistakes that you made and some of the success that you've had as well too? What would you say are a couple things that I should do right from the get-go?
I would say learn, educate yourself, and whatever, for example, if you like what we're doing, follow us, whatever it is, not to be us, but anybody, follow, get a mentor or get a coach, just follow what they're doing that's actively doing it, not somebody that's learning from a book and telling you what to do.
Right.
If you want to get into multifamily, follow somebody that's actively investing into multifamily. If you want to get into building, follow somebody that's actually actively building properties.
So learn
right?
from people that are where you want to be.
Where
number
you
one.
want to be.
Number
Yeah.
two, how long should it take them to be able to then take action?
I think that's an individual choice. You shouldn't wait, because everyone's always like, oh, I should have invested yesterday. Well, it's always going to be yesterday, right? You're never going to be ready. You just have to trust that you're going to make the decision that's going to lead you to the next step in your life.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, take calculated risk. Once you educate yourself and you're following the right people, take calculated risk. Run your numbers. It's a numbers game. Run your numbers if the numbers make sense. Take a risk. Everything's a risk. Take calculated risk, not dumb risk. Calculated risk,
Yeah.
right?
I like what you also said as well too, is that you'll never really be ready. Because you won't always you're not always fully ready.
Never.
And I think sometimes when you think that you're fully ready is when you're overconfident,
Yeah.
and then that's where the mistakes happen.
Yeah.
Because so I think you've always got to be a little bit humble. You always got to know that also too, that you're not always going to know everything, but you got to you gotta it's almost like kind of like packing your parachute.
Yeah.
And you know that eventually when you jump,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
parachute should open,
Yeah.
but it might open a little later.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
but not
exactly.
not being fully ready is taking a risk, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this upcoming couples dream retreat. You guys
Yeah.
are doing that coming up in what's the date on that, and what's that all about?
October 24th to the 27th. So it's Thursday to Sunday. And we went to a retreat and we loved it. I mean, we've been exploring different ways to, understand ourselves, getting back to who we are, what we truly want out of life, focusing on that. When we went to a retreat, we loved it. It was a great learning experience. It was the first time we went to a cottage and we weren't drinking and just sleeping in.
Right,
We were
okay.
actually doing stuff. We're like, wow, this is crazy. But it was great. And then we're like, you know what? We're at a point in our lives where, we want to be able to help couples navigate challenges. I mean, we go through stuff every day, regardless of what you see and what you don't see, right? What's kept us going? We've also been together since 98. So
Guys,
Wow.
we were really excited for this retreat. We announced something a few months ago. We were working on something, and this is what we're working on. We're working on a dreams couple retreat. We're putting together something for people that's interested in it. And like Jacqueline said, we attended one a few months ago, and we were really like, wow, we'd love to share that experience with other folks. We think that can benefit them, and that can be it could be life changing.
So walk me through this retreat. Like, what is it? It's a 3-day retreat. Are you guys teaching it? Are you bringing in other guest speakers?
Yeah, we're pretty much the retreat leader. We have one other retreat leader of us, so it'll be me, myself, Jacqueline, and then another retreat leader, just running the whole 3-day
Okay.
event.
Can you say the name, or is it a surprise?
yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's a friend of mine named Greg. He has he runs retreats called the Still Center, and it was through him that we had this opportunity, and so we're like, let's co-host this together. I think it would be incredible. It was something we had kind of talked about, me and Leo, before, and then he had showed up and was like, hey, do you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, this would be amazing. And we want to cultivate a space where couples can come together and understand like what their dream life looks like. Sometimes you don't always get the time or the opportunity to talk about things like that. Sometimes you're so busy you forget you've gone off track, or like there's so many other things in life that takes over what originally started with the two of you, where you want to see your life in the next 5-10 years, and really getting clear on that.
Yeah, and sometimes people forget about that, right? Like, what is it where do you want to be in 5 years? What's that dream life look
Yes.
like? And sometimes they
Yes.
get so caught up in the day-to-day
Yes.
activity, and they're just not, because I think as humans, we need to have goals that we always strive for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because once you hit that goal, you don't just say, okay, good, I'm done, and then you rest like Thanos. That's not, you know what I mean? No. You got to have something else that you continue to strive for. You got to have something that you continue to shoot for, and to continue to motivate yourself, and continue to motivate the people around you. And I think what you guys are doing right now for the people who are following you and interested in dreaming again and believing again, this sounds like this would be something great for them, right? To be a part of a group that is willing to teach them, grow with them, educate them, and motivate them.
Yeah.
Yes, and also dream with them too, and hold them accountable to
That's important.
achieve those dreams together as a couple.
Right.
So it's going to be really fun. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be.
We're looking for 10 couples, so it's not like it's going to be
limited space. Limited
Yeah.
space available. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be.
Speaking of couples, how do you guys work together? Because that's always a difficult
You
thing
know
as
what?
well.
I think we're trying to say that a little bit for because those are certain secrets for us to like, put that out in the retreat.
Mm-hmm.
To share some secrets that kept us together for almost 3 decades, right?
Yeah. It's not easy.
It's not,
No.
It's
so
not easy.
we're gonna
Yeah.
be sharing
not.
those secrets,
Yeah.
that kept us and keep us going and keep us a strong, healthy relationship. Those are some secrets. But that Jackie might be able to say a little bit if she wants to, how how we keep that work and personal relationship together and keep going without like killing each other.
Yeah.
Because
Because a lot of times as well too is that you marry your opposite,
Yeah.
which is so incredible. Like me and my wife are opposite.
Yeah, so are we.
yeah.
Right.
Complete opposites.
Yeah.
Sometimes Leo's like, "Are you living in a cloud? Come back to real life."
Yeah. But share some tips if you can, and not
Yeah.
give everything
Yeah.
away, but
I think it's also like it's just our personalities and like understanding who the other person is and being compassionate towards them and just knowing them. So you know what buttons to push, you know when to just back off, right? And when it comes to business, I think we've always had an incredible business relationship. We've always got stuff done because we just have a good ability to work together and to strive towards our goals.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything.
One tip I would say I'd give one away. Like the main thing is just communicate. Communication is the key, and that's
Yeah.
with every relationship, whether it's
So
a
Huge.
marriage,
Huge.
whether it's a friendship, whether it's anything. Communication is the key, whether it's bad or good. Communicate. Just don't ghost the person for 2 days, 3 days. Like you're not 18 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so just always communicate. Whatever it is, whatever the situation is, communicate so you guys know you're on the same level of thinking, same mindset. That's one of the key is just communication.
Yeah.
That's how you grow, right?
Yeah.
When you know that, not everyone always has to be aligned, but you have to be pretty close. Always, rising up to that level where you're on the same playing field. Because if one person's growing and the other person's not, you're going to have challenges that are going to be unfixable. To close that gap sometimes is going to be really difficult if you allow it to widen.
Yeah.
So
and even
communicate.
for us, this is one of the reasons why we worked together so long, because if one of us, if the business is growing, if one of us is growing here and one's here, it's like you're on different levels, so you have to try to keep on the same, grow together, essentially. I should say we want to grow together, not grow apart, right?
Right. So having almost the same vision as well.
having the same
too.
vision,
Right.
be involved in what each other's doing, whether it's a smaller scale or a larger scale, you're just still involved with what your partner is doing.
Right.
So that way you guys can grow together, For the,
When do you turn off business talk?
That's a good one.
It doesn't sound like you do. Does it always kind of just come into the conversation throughout the day, throughout the evening, at dinner?
Not necessarily.
I think for us, because we have multiple businesses together, so I think for us it's like,
Yeah, you close. Yeah.
for us we gotta like take a little step back and kind of do something, get away, don't talk about business. It might be in the
Weekends, definitely the weekends, because sometimes Monday, Friday goes by so quickly. And now going back with the kids and routines, like there's always stuff going on. And sometimes, I get emails, you get emails at like 10 o'clock at night about sending this, sending that. So it sneaks in through the day. I mean, our 9 to 5 is like a lot of the times business. And then sometimes it can spill over into the evening time, just depend on what's going on.
Yeah, essentially, weekends, like you said, essentially Sundays is usually the day we don't talk about no business.
Right.
And then sometimes we're forced to talk about it because we have to do this, do that. But Sundays is where I don't want to talk about business. I just don't talk about business. Let's just relax.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah.
You need that at least that day or 2 days
Yeah.
throughout the
You
week
do.
where you just, it's
No
family time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Relax, do things around the home,
Yeah.
get out of
Yeah.
the home,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
it may be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always-
Because then it allows you to continue to keep loving your business as well too.
Exactly.
Because then
Yes.
if it feels like that's all you are, look, I get it. I understand it. I'm passionate about what I do, but I also love my breaks. Because my
Yeah.
breaks allow me to continue to take a look at what I'm doing and is it the right thing to still continue to do, or
Yeah.
do I need to change it up, right? And so I think those small breaks are good.
Oh, it's really good. For example, I was away for last month. I was away for 3 weeks, and then this is the first time I went away where I had my phone off. Normally I go away, I have to have my phone on. I got a roaming a data plan where I can still manage my business from afar. This is the first time where I actually had my phone off, and it felt amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about what's going on back home when I'm away. You know what I mean? Like just to get that break, I just felt so good just to have my mind, because I'm always just on business all year round. So to just have that 3 weeks where I just didn't think about business, didn't think about nothing, just had the time to rejuvenate my mind, it just felt amazing. So you need that, like, for your mental health, you know?
Yeah.
And
I
this
agree.
is coming from a guy that really does work nonstop. Like
Mhm.
he takes working to a whole other level. Like he really goes hard when he puts his mind to something. And I think it's a blessing and it's also a curse for him.
Right. So listen, we're pretty much close to the end here. Listen, I appreciate all the words of advice. I also appreciate you guys being vulnerable as well too, and sharing some of the difficult things that you've gone through, because it's not easy to do that. Not everybody wants to share that side of the story, because you always want to do these podcasts and always like, yeah, I'm amazing, but it's good to share that. Look, this is not always an easy road. It's not always an easy journey, and it hasn't been easy for me as well too. I've made lots of mistakes. I've had lots of downtime and times when I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore.
That's
Like,
real talk.
Yeah, like legit, like I'm done, and then, but you got to find a way to push through. Last words of advice. What's your best advice that you can share with somebody who's listened to this, that can help navigate them through whatever it is that they're thinking of doing, whether it be real estate investing or be an entrepreneur or starting their own business?
My words of advice would be, if you're thinking of getting into entrepreneurship, or you're thinking about getting into real estate, just follow your dreams. Do something you love doing. How do you know you love doing it? When you're doing something where it doesn't feel like work. You're doing it. You're excited. You get up every day and you can't wait to get to work, or to get to doing whatever you're doing. Right. So just follow your heart. Do something you love. Don't do something you hate doing or you hate being there. And just follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. Get a mentor. Get a mentor or a coach to help you speed up that process, whatever it is you're doing. Yeah, those are a couple words of advice I would say.
I'm going to say that you're the creator of your life. What you think and what you believe determines your reality. So focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. Consciously create rather than unconsciously create.
Yeah, that negative mind, because we all have it, right? That can creep in very quickly, and especially with social media, when you start seeing other people doing great things, and then you're like, man, my life isn't as good as theirs. But you got to remember, that's just a snapshot in time as well, too. You're smiling.
Yeah.
All the
Some people should do some more grumpy faces. Right? Like, yeah, today's not a good day.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's great advice. So it really is. Listen, guys, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. If anybody wants to learn more about you or follow you, what's the best way that they can do that?
Socials, Francis 5 Properties. You can follow me at IEC Jacqueline, Instagram.
Or Facebook, LG Francis. You could reach us there as well.
Awesome. Yeah. And we'll put all that stuff in the show notes as well, too. So
perfect.
Listen, guys, I appreciate your time. Love your story. And we'll do this again.
Yes,
absolutely. Thank you for having us, man.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
you,
us.
man.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.